After way too long of a break because of several factors, graduated, new job, new house, general laziness, I'm finally back with another video. Here are the top 10 free racing games on Itchio you don't know about. Drift Hunters is a car drifting game where you chain drifts together to rack up as many points as possible. You start out with one car and pick from one of 10 different tracks. On the racetracks, the goal is to score points, which you do by drifting. Every time you score enough points, you can chain another drift into the combo, which adds to the score multiplier. Drift points earn you money, which you can spend to buy upgrades and new cars, all of which handle differently. Cars can also be tuned to add things like camber, making them have less traction, or change their ride height. The physics of the game are very polished, and it's just a joy to play as you try to chain together the longest chain of drifts possible. Controlling the car involves a lot of fast, tiny movements as you manage the acceleration, brake, steering, and handbrake just to stay in control.
Hello there.
If you're looking for a satisfying drifting game with a lot of cars to unlock, then I recommend Drift Hunters. Art of Rally is a top-down rally car game where you race for the best time possible. There's only a single course in the game, but it's fairly long and consists of 2 different surface types. The regular tarmac is grippier, while the gravel makes you slide around a lot. The course also has a lot of elevation changes and jumps, which adds more variety to the handling. The car controls are very weighty, so managing your speed is essential when going around corners. There are 2 different car options. One is slower and easier to control, and the other is powerful, which makes it harder to control but is faster once you get the hang of it. Before each race, you can select the time of day, which changes the look of the gorgeous environment. If you're looking for a rally racing game, then I recommend Art of Rally. Super Pilot is a futuristic racing game that has you race on gravity-defying courses. The game plays a lot like F-Zero as it's centered around twitch-based reactions and the 7 fast-paced tracks. Along the track, there are boost pads that you want to hit as they give you a temporary speed boost. I found it most fun to race against the 48 AI opponents as you have to dodge through them at the start of the race. After the first lap, you get access to a limited boost meter, which you can activate at any time, and it refills after every lap, adding a bit of strategy. The game is still in development, so it has no sound, but if you're looking for a fast-paced racing game about twitch reactions, then I recommend Super Pilot. Stylized Drift has a collection of racing modes where you compete in a variety of challenges to earn money. There's tons of different challenges like classic races where you try to get first, drift races where you try to score the most points in 3 laps against opponents, drag races which are chaotic races in a straight line,
And his name is...
and solo drifts where you drift alone on a closed course. The handling of the car is intentionally very slippery for drift events, but much grippier during race events, which I liked. When you drift long enough on one side, you can chain it with another drift to get a score multiplier. There's tons of courses and cars with very different stats to unlock, both by earning money from events and by completing certain challenges, which kept me playing. If you're looking for a drifting game with lots of variety and things to unlock, then I recommend Stylized Drift. Bicrash is a chaotic bike racing game where you fight and dodge 100 other racers to win. You start at the back of the pack and have to weave through the reckless opponents who have no regard for their own safety. They seem to struggle the most with corners as they careen into either the guardrail or you. You can get revenge on them though by kicking them, which gets you a temporary speed boost, helping you reach the front. You can also jump, which is useful for leaping over crashes and jumping over these pits. It's insanely addictive as each run is very short, and you always think you can do better if it weren't for the rogue AI. If you're looking for a hilariously addicting game about dodging opponents, then I recommend Bicrash. Corpse Box Racers is an obstacle course survival game where you play as a corpse in a box. The goal is to finish the obstacle course and go through the ring at the end of the level. It's much easier said than done on most courses since it's very hard to keep the corpse in the box if you catch any air. The box is also prone to tipping over. Every time you die, you have to restart from the beginning, although you can respawn from where you left off if you have no shame.
You suck!
There's also local multiplayer, but I live alone, so if you're looking for a weird obstacle course game, then I recommend Corpse Box Racers. Scoot Scoot is a mini bike racing game where you see how fast you can complete 3 laps in the obstacle course. The bike handles very tightly and is a joy to control. Managing your acceleration is the primary challenge as the bike turns very sharply at low speed, so you're constantly feathering acceleration as you steer. The course is well designed with tight turns throughout, but be on the lookout for cones since hitting them will add 0.25 seconds to your overall time. If you're looking for a tight controlling obstacle course game with chill music, then I recommend Scoot Scoot. Drift Stage is an arcade racing game all about drifting around corners to maintain speed and set the fastest time. The controls are just steer, accelerate, and brake, but managing your line and speed around corners is the challenging part. You initiate a drift by braking while turning, and can change the angle of your drift much like in Mario Kart. Once you do a few laps, you can race against a ghost of your personal best time, as well as ghosts of increasing speeds, giving you something to compete against. If you're looking for an arcadey drifting game about going as fast as possible, then I recommend Drift Stage. Groaning Steel is a PS1-style gory apocalyptic racing game about completing different tasks. There's only one level in the game, but you have to replay it multiple times to complete all the tasks, like completing 3 laps before the timer runs out, killing 15 humans, or scoring a certain amount of points, for example. Once you complete a certain number of challenges, you unlock new cars with different stats. The physics and controls of the game are pretty busted, even though you can control your car in the air, but it does make for a hilariously good time.
Oh my god, he on X-Games mode.
Especially since you can switch between grip or stunt mode that allows your car to drift. If you're looking for an objective-based racing game with some funny but frustrating crashes, then I recommend Groaning Steel. Just Shut Up and Drive is a retro-inspired arcade racing game where you compete against other racers in a variety of tracks. You start at the back of the pack and have to fight your way through traffic and rival cars to reach the front. Red cars are just there to block you, and yellow cars are your opponents that you have to beat to move up one position. Going off the track and hitting other cars will slow you down, so you have to be sure to have a fairly clean run if you want to get first by the end of the race. There's a total of 10 different tracks, each with a distinct theme. Some even have unique gameplay tweaks like oncoming traffic, for example. If you're looking for a polished arcade racer, then I recommend Just Shut Up and Drive. Those were the top 10 free racing games on Itchio you didn't know about. I'll have my playlist of free Itchio games you don't know about linked in the description, as well as my video on free racing games on Steam. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with this ongoing series.